Okay, welcome to the final module of the Crushing Sales Blueprint. Now, this is the bonus module that I have put together and included for you guys surrounding everything to do with mindset. And it was kind of like a personal, I guess, almost little passion project for me to put this module into the course because I've been through heaps of trainings that only ever talk about sales strategies, sales frameworks, scripting, tonality, all of that sort of stuff, which of course, I'm not going to deny. It's all very useful, and that's what the majority of this course has been about. We're here to talk about sales after all. But the reason that I wanted to put a course in about everything that I've learned to do with mindset management is because I think that without maintaining a solid mindset, going into this game with the right frame of mind, the right principles, the right values, and tactics that you've set in place to guarantee longevity, then all of the sales trainings and strategies and frameworks, they all fall flat on their face. And I'm making sure that you get the most out of this course. So I needed to have a module about this in here. So I'm going to break this down into certain sections. These are all of the best things that I could put together that have given me longevity to stay motivated, stay upbeat, stay positive when you work in a role that can definitely take its toll on you if you don't go about things the right way. So without further ado, let's hop into the first section of this module. So the first section of the mindset management module is going to be around reinforcing the vehicle. Now, I think about it like this. If you had a truck and it was carrying a certain load size, if you wanted to increase that load size, what do? Well, besides obviously increasing the size of the truck, you're going to put more tires underneath it to support the heavier weight that it's carrying. You need to think about yourself as being the truck and the load that you're trying to carry as being your work ethic in sales and working harder, working longer. You're carrying that load, that stress, that burden. And we want to make you capable of carrying it without even having to bat an eyelid. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to reinforce the vehicle itself. We need to look after it, right? Because if we don't, then of course it's going to break down on us over a long enough period of time. So how exactly do we go about this? Well, look, I'm starting off with the obvious here, and I'm not even ashamed of it because sometimes the simple advice is still the most powerful advice. So there's three things that I want to cover off on here that are very, very important. The first one is exercise. The second one is eat. And the third one is socialize. Right? There we go. So the first two, pretty simple, right? You need to exercise. You need to take care of yourself. And one thing that I've noticed is that exercising, when it comes to fitting it into a routine, is actually something that kind of just like lets off the pressure valve. You come out of a day of sales where you're stressed, you've got so much on your mind. And when you go to the gym, when you get a good workout in, get your heart pumping, it really takes you out of your head. And so that's one of the best things that I've found I can do if I'm really feeling like there's a lot bottled up. The next one is eat. Now, obviously here I'm referring to having a healthy diet, right? Similarly to exercising, when you eat better, you feel better. Your mind feels a lot clearer. When you eat a lot of junk food, you start to get a lot of these depressing thoughts, these stressful thoughts. And for this reason, these two things in combination go back to what I was originally saying. They really reinforce the vessel. And the third one is socialize. Now, you need to remember to get out there. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just go out and hang out with some friends on a weekend, even if it's just for a couple of hours. Nothing major. But at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you. Again, it's going to deflate some of this stress and this pressure that's built up throughout the week. And on top of that, look, in all honesty, sales is something that it kind of hangs over your head, right? Because in most industries that you work in, a deal doesn't usually just happen in the space of 15 minutes, right? That's like an order at McDonald's. A deal when it comes to closing and long-term sales, it can sometimes last for, days to weeks to even months, depending on the sales cycle of whatever it is that you're selling. And so this job and the nature of it, it really has the ability to follow you home after work hours, which is really, really taxing. So when you do all three of these things, sure, on a, I guess, biological level, they're healthy for you. But even further than that, what each of these three things do is they just put you back in the present moment, right? When you're in the gym, when you're enjoying a good meal, or when you're sitting around with friends, you're not thinking about, oh, I hope that guy shows up to our follow-up meeting in a couple of days. You're not thinking about, oh, I can't believe that deal was so close and then they called me and they pulled out at the last minute. You need to forget about what's happened and what may happen, and you need to just enjoy and remember to live in the present moment. And when you do these things and you reinforce the vehicle, you stay in a positive mindset. You're a better person at work. You're a better closer in terms of your ability in your craft, and you all round just have a much better quality of life. So the first section of the mindset management module, although it may seem obvious, is to exercise, to eat well, and don't forget to socialize. I'm all for advocating for really hard work and really long hours. God knows I've definitely done it many, many times, but you need to set some time aside to look after yourself. Otherwise, that truck is just going to break down on the highway and it's just going to absolutely lose everything that it's carrying. It's just not going to be good. You get where I'm going with this. So that's section one. Let's move on to section two. Okay, I hope you have been enjoying the Mindset Mastery module so far. Just wanted to take a quick second to let you in on something. If you're looking to take your sales skills to the next level, if you're currently working in a sales role, or if you're a business owner and you sell your own product or service, then I have something that may be of interest to you. I'm running personalized call recording sessions, script writing sessions, and tonality and body language masterclasses, along with a bunch of other extra things that you may get. If you want to take a look at the program and where we do all of those things, click on the link in the description of this video. You'll have to book a call with me. It's case by case only. So that's completely free. There's no cost involved. You can book the call with me through my website. We'll hop on, we'll have a chat. And if you feel like it's a good fit and it suits, then we can talk about working together. If it doesn't turn out to be the right thing for you, then you get a free coaching session at the end of the day anyway. So there's really nothing to lose, but check that one out if you do want to look at moving up to the next level. Other than that, I'm going to let you get back to the video and I will see you on our call together. Okay, the second section of the mind state management module is something that I like to call taking tactical leave. Now, I guess where this concept initially started was way, way back when I was actually in high school. I remember that a teacher said something that really stuck with me. They, were saying how they had been feeling a bit sick. And one of the students made a comment saying, oh, well, sir, why don't you just take the day off? And he said, why would I take the day off when I'm sick? Better to come to work, put my head down. I still feel pretty good. And when I feel good, that's when I'll take my days off because I can actually enjoy them. And I guess that concept sort of stuck with me a little bit. And when it comes to our performance in sales, sometimes, there's a bit of a competition. No surprise. It's a very competitive field where people say, oh, I worked this many weekends in a row and I worked this many hours yesterday. And, we always want to brag about how hard and how long we're working. But at the end of the day, you can't redline an engine forever and expect it not to break. So this actually happened to me where I was working with one of my colleagues and he was just like, man, I don't know what's happened. I'm not closing. I can't find my feet. I can't get my rhythm going. And my head's just a mess. And I said to him, take some leave. And he's like, no, like the weekend's coming up. I'll just enjoy it. I've got a couple days off. I'll try not to do too much work. And I said, no, that doesn't count. Take maybe like a Thursday and a Friday off and actually have like a 4-day break and go plan something nice and forget about your work and you will come back ready to go. And he did just that. And then he came back and he started absolutely crushing it. It was exactly what he needed. Sometimes we need those hard resets. And honestly, it's better to just be upfront and acknowledge the situation. Just put in the leave because your company that you work at, if you're an employee, there's a reason that they have annual leave. There's a reason that you have that ability to take leave. And so you're better off saying, hey, I actually need to take some leave when you're not feeling too well, in terms of how you're performing, as opposed to putting on the bravado, trying to just soldier through it. Your performance isn't there. Now your manager's on your back because your numbers aren't where they should be. And it just compounds and compounds and compounds until it turns into something a lot worse. So tactical leave is a really, really big thing that I advocate for. And look, if you are in a position where you are a subcontractor, or maybe you don't get accrued leave over your time at work, I can understand that. There's a lot of companies that hire out their sales reps in that fashion. I still would recommend maybe just having a separate savings account or a fund that you use for, travel or time off, so that you can try and implement this sort of method, because it is honestly something that can really save you when times are getting tough and has done a lot of good for a lot of people that I know. So as much as I'm going to encourage you to work hard, to push through, to go for long hours, to do whatever you have to do to achieve your goals, something that I feel not enough people talk about is advocating for healthy tactical leave, not so that you can be lazy, not so that you can, avoid work, but so that you can do it with the intention of coming back and working harder and staying consistent. This is like a, every 2 to 3 months sort of thing. This is not an every second week sort of thing. And believe me, anyone who tells you that you taking 2 days off every 3 months is going to set you behind doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Because I guarantee the productivity per unit of time or per day when you come back from that trip is actually going to be so much more than what you would have gotten out of just working 2 extra days. So if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling like you need it, take some tactical leave. Now, let's move on to the next section of the mindset management module. Okay, the next one is short and sweet, but nonetheless, it is still super, super impactful. And that is having a super clear why as to why you are doing what you're doing. Why are you putting yourself through this, right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, I want money, or yeah, I want to absolutely crush this so that I can get to the next level in my career. Maybe you want to move from being a setter to being a closer. But the thing that's important is that you actually get this crystal clear. So this is going to become your North Star. When you're getting into those rough patches, when you're losing that motivation, something that you can reflect back to keep you motivated, to keep you driving forward. And what I recommend is writing it down, or, taking a photo if it's maybe like a family that motivates you that you have, or if it's, an image of something inspiring, whether it be a car, whether it be a holiday, whether it be a private jet, whatever it may be. Try and make it something deep. Try and make it something that hits a nerve with you, and smother it everywhere, on your desk, on your phone wallpaper, at home, in your bedroom. Make it something that you are always reminding yourself of, so that every action of your day is intentional, so that it's met with motivation, and so that you can be the best version of yourself and continue to push forward. One thing that I just want to stress as well is that there is nothing too simple, too petty, or, too idiotic for you to write down as being your reason why. If it's proving that you want to be successful because of that ex that, broke your heart, if it's because you got bullied in high school and you want to show that you're successful, whatever the thing is, no matter how ridiculous you may think it is, if it hits a nerve with you and if it moves you in some way, then use it. Don't just put it to the side. And I encourage you to do this. You can have multiple reasons. It doesn't need to just be one, but just have that as the ace up your sleeve, so that whenever you are hitting a bit of a slope, you can pull it out. You can remember why you're in this. You can pick yourself back up, pull your socks up, and get straight back on the field so that you can continue crushing it. The next section of the mindset management module is understanding that you are in a numbers game, that what you are doing is only so much within your control. And one thing that I always say is you can only control the controllables, right? Which I guess is my sort of way of saying that You can't really affect everything that goes on. So you can control how many times you practice your script, how many calls you make per day, whether you're watching sales trainings instead of watching Netflix, whether you're doing your role plays. There's a lot of things that you can control to make yourself better at your job. But there are certain things that you just cannot control. You can't control, for example, whether a prospect answers the phone or not. You can't control if you get a random email at night from them saying, hey, we've changed our mind, we're pulling out of the deal, tear up all the paperwork, and they just don't respond to you when you try to reach out after that. There's nothing you can do about that. You have to remind yourself that you are in a numbers-based game. Focus on the output that you are doing daily of the things that are in your control to get better, and relax and allow whatever is going to return to you to come back in its own way. Because at the end of the day, this isn't something where you can absolutely win every second deal. So you're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be a 10 out of 10 when it comes to being a closer. But what you can control is lifting your percentages higher tomorrow from where they were yesterday. One thing that I'll give you here, which is a really, really useful frame to remember if you are feeling like you're just not making any progress, is something called the law of averages, right? And the law of averages states that on a long enough time horizon, things will balance out the way that they should. And an example of this is, let's say that you're an appointment setter. Let's say maybe you're cold calling. Let's say that you're just not having too much luck. I'm going to give you a theory. If I was to pull out a deck of cards and to shuffle them, and I put it face down in front of you on a table, and inside this deck, I say to you, there's 4 aces in there, and I want you to peel cards off and turn them over one by one until you find all 4 aces. If you start going at it, you still don't see any aces. You get a quarter of the way through, still nothing. You get halfway through the deck, there's still nothing there. You get 3/4 of the way through and you still haven't even run into a single ace yet. Are you going to get discouraged? You're going to say, what's the point of even finishing it? I don't even think it's coming. There's no aces so far. What's the point in this? No, you would get even more excited. You'd be like, well, I know that in this deck there's 4 aces, so I got to be super close. And then I'm not just going to get one, I'm going to get them all next to each other. This is the same way that it works when you're working in sales. But the only difference is that sometimes you've got multiple decks and they're all shuffled together and all of the aces could be tiered towards one end. But if you give up, or if you get discouraged, or if you slow down, then you're never quite going to get there. It's a numbers game, and you have to trust that the law of averages will equal out. I've had days where I go the whole day without getting a single deal or a single appointment set, and even weeks. But sure enough, I stick at it, and before you know, they've all compacted, and then you have a week where you crush out more sales than you needed to for the entire month in 1 week. But that's the law of averages. It's not going to be a deal a day consistently, and you have to understand that. And when you do understand that, it's going to make it so much easier on you when you may have a day or 2 or 3 where you feel as though you haven't gotten anything. You'll understand why. You'll think about the law of averages, and that'll put you in a better place to come back to work the next day and keep pushing forward. The next section here is something that is very, very powerful, not only to maintaining your mindset, but also to discovering success within a sales career. And that is selling something that you genuinely believe in. Now, the reason being is that when you sell something you believe in, sure, there's always going to be hard work involved when it comes to sales. And look, there's always going to be frustrating, rough patches. But when you love what you're selling, not only are you going to enjoy what you're learning about when it comes to learning about the product, any sort of corporate events, or any sort of seminars or speakers or any cool stuff that companies usually do to educate and reward their staff, they're going to be right up your alley in terms of something that you share a mutual interest in. But the other thing as well is that passion that comes through in your sales, and that conviction is going to give you a natural edge. It's going to put the wind at your back when it comes to how you pitch things to your prospects, because they'll be able to see that, this guy's not just here, counting the minutes on the clock. This guy wants to be here. This guy really cares and is interested about selling cars or about selling planes or whatever it is that you might be selling. So in regards to one thing that you can do to really turn things around quickly is if you're in a position where you think, oh, sales isn't for me, I'm not succeeding at my current role. Ask yourself, do you really care about what it is that you're selling? Do you have a genuine interest in it? Because one of the cool things about sales is that you can virtually sell in pretty much industries that exist all over the world. Like there's virtually no cap. You can sell in any industry that you want to sell in. So if you don't really care about insurance and you actually really like real estate and architecture, well then, get up and go over and start selling properties. And before you know it, you're going to be selling more successfully and you're just going to be happier all around. One example that I see time and time again, which is testament to this point that I'm making here, is that when I work with business owners, and you may be one watching this, business owners are people who start a business typically in a niche that they're naturally passionate about. So when a business owner is selling their product or service, they tend to do a lot better off the jump than someone who is just stepping into sales. And the reason for that is because they know what they're offering, they believe in what they're providing with their business, and they chose to step into that field because they already had some natural interest. And so if you can replicate that, if you're only a sales rep as opposed to a business owner, which again, there's no better or worse, still both amazing positions to be in, and they both come with their own pros and cons, then the best thing that you can do as a sales rep is to position yourself in an industry and a company that aligns with something that you're already naturally interested in. And as I said, this is gonna not only show you more success in your sales ability, it's not only gonna give you a better experience day to day in the office, at work, but it's gonna give you longevity and sustainability over your career. And this is what this module is all about. Sure, you can be motivated and you can have all the strategies to be an effective sales rep for 5 minutes, but if you don't actually enjoy what you're doing, then are you gonna have the capacity to do that for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and make a healthy career out of it? And at the end of the day, give yourself a consistent income, because that is one of the pitfalls of sales, is that you can be someone who's up 1 month and earning a boatload of money, but the next month you can earn half that amount because your motivation fell off or your reason why fell off. And you don't want that. That creates a lot of pressure and a lot of stress outside of work. And if you can find a way to stay consistent over a long enough time frame, then you're going to give yourself a really rewarding career in multiple different avenues. So that is a little bit on how you can help yourself by positioning yourself in an industry and in an offer that you are genuinely passionate about. Here we go. Last but not least, the final section of the mindset management module in this course is self-educate. And I can tell that you're someone who already does that just by the fact that you're watching this course, which is awesome. But as someone that wants to see you succeed for a very long time and way off into the future, it is important that you keep this as a habit that you possess. You need to be reading sales books, watching sales trainings, listening to podcasts, learning as much as you can. And, as something that I will happily admit to you that I don't know if a lot of people would say, bearing it across their chest, is that sales is an evolving industry. Just as I mentioned with marketing, and audiences also mature as well. So what worked for people to become good sales reps in the 70s and the 80s doesn't work today, in the same way that what works today may not necessarily work in 30, 40, 50 years time from now. Of course, there are some evergreen concepts that are a part of human nature and will not ever change, but there's always going to be new tips, tricks, technologies, and things that come out to make our career and our life different and exciting and new. And you want to stay on the cutting edge of this stuff so that you can continue to be a high performer in your industry. So as proud as I am of you for making it the whole way through the course, watching all the modules, investing in yourself, I just want to be here to congratulate you on that and encourage you to continue doing that from this point forward. So with that being said, rewatch these videos, rewatch the modules, get as much as you can out of it, and continue to consume and digest as much sales material and training as you can to continue to improve yourself and be that 1% better every single day. It's been an absolute pleasure having you for this course. I hope that you got a lot of value out of it, because I genuinely put so much work into this, and it's a massive, massive passion project for me. To be able to share this with you is something that I'm really, really proud of. So once again, go back, rewatch, enjoy, take notes, but besides all of that, earn yourself some good money. I hope that you have a better experience day in, day out at work as a result of the things that you learn in this course as well. And like I said, although it may seem extreme, although it may seem a little bit corny, I genuinely hope that in some way, shape, or form, as a result of investing in this course and learning this knowledge, that it improves your life for the long run in some way as well. So thank you. And as always, keep crushing it. I will see you next time.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to quickly hop on now that you've made it to the end of the module and show you where to go from here if you want to take your sales learning to the next level. So that program that I mentioned earlier on, where we do those one-on-one sessions, I just wanted to give you a rundown on where to find those. You can pop over to the website here, anthonyakel.com, and I'll have this linked in the description of this video, where you can click on that link. It'll take you here. Watch this video. It's just under 15 minutes, and it's going to give you the A to Z on who I am, where I come from, what the offer includes, and it's also going to go through the two testimonials that are kind of like the two character types that I suit best with my offer. The first one's going to be Michael. The second one is going to be Talon. And then what you can do once you've watched these videos and you've watched this main one here, it's really important that you watch this one. You can click over here to book a call. It'll take you to my booking page with my calendar. Go ahead, pick a time that suits you. There's just going to be a few questions so that I can get to know you a little bit better and understand how I can best help you. And then we can hop on that chat together and we'll talk like this face to face. It's completely free. We'll just see if it's a good fit. And if it is, we can go from there. If it's not, like I said, you're going to get 30 minutes, as you can see here, literally just to catch up with me, ask me any questions you want. And you'll get a free coaching session out of the end of it at the very least. So hope that clears things up. I hope you've been enjoying the content so far. Consider subscribing. As I said, there's more content on the way. And besides that, I will see you in the next video, or hopefully I'll see you on our call if you end up booking one. So all the best. Have a great day, and we'll speak soon.